Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to day one of the Crush Your Content Challenge. I am super excited to start sharing this content with you over the next week. I'm going to be live every single day, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. British time, which is 10 a.m. Eastern. And I'm going to be live here on Zoom. Not every day is going to have slides. I put together some slides for today's content, but some days you won't have slides, which is totally cool. But I wanted to just firstly introduce myself in case any of you are new here or any of you are just unfamiliar with this format. My name is Melanie. I am the creator of the Wonder Woman Business Lounge and the host for this challenge. And I truly geek out over anything related to content strategy, productivity, time management. I really, really enjoy talking about this stuff. So it's really, really fun for me to now be able to share this with other women, other solo business owners, and be able to help you create more time and become more productive with your business using content strategy. So as I said, not every day is going to have slides. I'm going to be going through some tutorials with you later in the week. And so we're going to be getting into kind of the whole process that I use with my clients and in my own business of auditing your business each month, your content strategy, right through to batching out your content for the following month. So the goal of this week is to give you all of these tools, give you all of these tactics, and kind of help you create your own content strategy. But I want to start out the week by saying that your content strategy does not have to look like mine or anybody else's inside the business lounge. I really, really believe that we need to find our own way of creating a content strategy. So it doesn't mean that you can't use everything I teach you this week, but don't put too much pressure on yourself to try and conform or put yourself into this box that's going to completely overwhelm you or stress you out with your content. Because for many of you, you are coaches, you are consultants, some of you have in-person clients and you have brick and mortar businesses, which means that your time and your energy is being pulled in all these different directions. And because of that, you can't expect your business or your lifestyle to look exactly the same as somebody else's. So I'm going to be kind of reiterating this over the next few days. I'm going to be prompting you to look at your own business and what you want your content strategy to do for you. But I wanted to just start by saying that because what I would hate is for anybody to be going through this challenge and feeling as though they're behind. You are never behind. You will have all of the same information as everybody else. The replays will be available and you will be able to go back and rewatch them. You'll be able to ask questions in the group. There are prompts in the group every single day. So don't feel like you're behind. I want you to feel as though that you have all the information you need. It's just a case of how you can then put that together for your own business, which I will help you with. I'm more than happy to. I'm here all week to help you do that. So don't feel as though you can't ask questions. The Wonder Woman Business Lounge is a safe environment for you to ask questions. There are no wrong or right answers. There are no silly questions. And I know everyone says that, but I want you to feel really comfortable asking those questions. So that's really what I wanted to start by saying, and I will go over this a few times this week because I don't want anyone to feel that way. So today we're going to be looking at not just how to plan out for the next 90 days in your business, in particular your content, but we're also going to be looking at how you can create a unlimited content theme bank for your own business. So you've probably seen those PDF downloads online. I've certainly seen them all the time on Pinterest, where it's like 150 million ideas for your blog. And when you download them, and I have downloaded them, they often are things like my 5 favorite books. And this is not that. And the reason this isn't that is because I don't think you need me to tell you that you could write a book review. I don't think you need me to tell you that that is an option. I think you already know that. What this is about is helping you create that content that really connects you to your audience, that content that really helps your audience understand what you do, but why you do it, and connects them to your story. And that's so important for building those relationships, those real relationships through social media, because now more than ever, social media is different. And we'll be talking about social media a lot this week, but now more than ever, it's different. It doesn't look the same that it did 3-5 years ago, even probably 12 months ago. It looks different. I nearly knocked my drink over then. I'm going to move that slightly. It looks different, and what's really important is the understanding of the community and the connection through social media that you can build just by sharing a story of yours. And it doesn't have to be this like TMI story. It can be sharing just one thing that's happened to you that kind of got you to where you are. So I'm going to be sharing with you how I'm going to be showing you how you can share those stories using this content theme bank. So if you have any questions during the session, then just find the chat box, just add a comment, and I will probably pick those up at the end so that I don't distract myself, because I know what I'm like. And if you have any comments after this, if you're watching the replay, just go ahead and post them in the group. You can tag me in the post so that I make sure I can see it, and I will come back and answer all of the questions that are in there over the next few days. So today I want to start by looking at the 3Ps, and the 3Ps is how you're going to plan out your quarter, the next 90 days. It's the last week of March, which means next week it's a new quarter. It's a new 3-month period in your business, and I'm sure you feel the same way as I do, that 90 days kind of goes by pretty quickly in our businesses. We are so busy anyway, and we have so many different things happening, and time just seems to go by very quickly. So what I want to kind of share with you is the 3 things I like to plan out, the 3 things I like to focus on and put my attention to looking at a new quarter. And the reason to get distracted and to think about all the 12 million different things that are currently being marketed to you across social media, these different things that you might need in your business. But I want you to think about these 3 main things when it comes to setting up your business for success over the next 90 days. And then, as I said, looking at a content strategy that works for your business. And a content strategy is really the way that you take your content, i.e. your blogs, videos, podcast, YouTube channel, your social media posts, those pieces of content, and how you market those for your brand and for your business. So a strategy is a long-term thing. It's not something that you can just pick up for 1 month. It's a long-term plan with an overall aim. So there's something to be said for creating a content strategy that's going to really feel good for your business, not something that you are going to start and then become overwhelmed by. And that might be a little bit different to what is kind of the narrative online right now, but I want you to really think about creating something that feels really good for your business, something that feels achievable, a posting plan. I know I've already had some questions this morning in the Facebook group about social media, and we're going to get to that, but really creating a posting plan as well that doesn't overwhelm you, that's not setting you up for struggle and overwhelm, because this narrative that you have to post more times on social media, this narrative that you need to be on there 24/7 and glued to your phone or your laptop, it just isn't true. And I found ways in which that I can post and engage and still build my social media presence and have those engaging conversations without having my phone in my hand 24/7. So we're going to cover all of those things over the next week. But I really wanted today look at those 3Ps and look at planning out your 90 days. So the 3Ps for a successful quarter. The 3Ps stand for promotions, projects, and platforms. These are the 3 things that I want you to think about. And this is really the start for your content, because when it comes to our content, we can sit down on a Monday and be like, right, what do I want to talk about today? But we really have to get into the habit as business owners of thinking about that journey that we're taking that person on. And you're probably already doing it, but maybe you haven't put some planning behind it. So actually having some intention behind what you're going to say and making sure that that takes your ideal client, potentially that person who's just found your Instagram account, taking them on a really clear journey through your content. Now, that doesn't mean that that person is going to read every single social post, watch every video, and read every email. They might, and that's incredible. But what you want to be able to ensure is that your posts over the next 90 days, over the next month, in April, that they take that person on a journey, that that person really understands from one post who you are. They get a sense of what you do and what you're about. They can see snippets of your life. Because inevitably, I'm sure you've done this just as much as I have, when you find an Instagram account or I'm saying Instagram, but any social media platform, when you find an account that you really love, or there's just something about them that engages you, you don't tend to stop at one photo, right? We tend to then go through and we're like, oh, what else are they posting? And this is why it's important, because we can't assume that that piece of content is the only piece of content that person will read. We also can't assume that that piece of content is going to be the first piece of content. Does that make sense? So if somebody comes to your social media profile today, they may not click on your most recent post. They might click on a post from 3-4 weeks ago. That can happen. And you've all had those people who go through and they like all of your posts over the last few days. So you want to be, or last few weeks, sorry. So you want to be thinking about that, thinking about your actual, that person who's clicking on your profile, get into the mindset of that person, that ideal audience, that ideal client. What are they thinking about when they come to your profile? And that's why it's important to have this kind of customer journey that takes them from where they are right now, where they are struggling, whatever they're thinking, whatever their pain point is right now, to help them understand that there is a way out of this, that you are the only person that can solve that problem for them. That's the end result. And so that's our goal, is with our content, is to be marketing our brand, marketing our business, showing people what we do, why we do it, who we are, and doing that through words, through videos. It's much easier through video, I think, because you're front and center. When you're doing written word or you're using images, that's where we can sometimes find it a little bit tricky, because we are trying to match all these things together. We're trying to make the perfect picture with the perfect caption, the perfect hashtags, and those multitude of things can sometimes make it a little bit overwhelming, because we're trying to pull all these things together at once, which is why I am a big fan of Facebook Live, because I can just show up and start talking and everyone assumes that I might mess up because it's live. So there's this feeling of content in relation to social media. It's this idea that we have to post more, and I want to help you kind of squash that idea this week. But we're going to look at the promotional side of things first, and looking at what it is you're promoting over the next 90 days, specifically in April. So these are some questions that I want you to think about. I want you to ask yourself, are you launching? Whether you're launching something privately, publicly, to your email list, maybe it's an affiliate launch, whether it's a new product or service, are you launching something? And if you are launching something, that's the place that you need to start. You want to look at that product or service that you are launching, and all of your content should be themed around that product or service. It should all link to that end result. I've had people tell me they've been given specific numbers. I don't think there is a specific formula for how many times that you should post about that theme. I think it comes down to what stories you have to share. So if you are launching a product or service at the end of April, you're well into that phase of talking about the product or service. And so your April content, whether it's video, audio, or written, you want to be sharing different themes around that product or service. You want to be looking at that launch, whatever it is you're launching, and what are the things that are going to connect your audience from the moment they click on your account. How can you then take them on a journey that's going to make it really easy for them to see the value in what you're offering, for free and paid? What's going to help them to see that you are the person that can help them get the results they want? You also want to consider any opt-ins that you are promoting this month. So maybe you're not launching, maybe you're looking to grow your email list. Well, your email list is a great tool for growth. We all have heard frequently over the last few weeks since Instagram went down that an email list is important. You don't own social media, and I feel like we know that now. So you don't own social media, an email list is important, as is your website, because you own both of those things. So sending people to an email list is really important, but none of these things work in isolation. So you want to really think about, okay, if I want to grow my email list, what does that look like? It probably does look like the form of some kind of opt-in, freebie, whatever it is that we're calling them. It looks like one of those. It looks like some kind of value-based content that is free. And that's really, again, the place you want to start. There shouldn't be like a freebie with no kind of thought behind it. You want to have intentional marketing. There needs to be some thought behind what it is you're putting out into the world. This free piece of content that I'm going to share with the world is hugely valuable, but on its own, it doesn't mean a lot. You want to have that intentionality behind it. You want to ensure that there is some, that you have some email sequences, that you know what it is that you want to say to people who download this thing, and you want to have them going somewhere. So again, it comes back to that customer journey, making sure that people have a clear journey to go through when they decide to join your email list. Because gone are the days that we can just put something out there and have thousands of people download it with no real context and no real intention behind it. I know so many people over the years who have said to me that their email list is dead, and I've certainly felt that way too in the past. But the thing about an email list is it has to be nurtured. I was having this conversation just last week. It has to constantly be nurtured. And so just like anything, you want to think about how you are nurturing your audience through your opt-ins and through your launches. So whether you're launching something new for yourself, whether you're launching something free, a free piece of content, a free challenge or something like that, whether you're creating passive income, you want to have some intentionality behind it and make sure that there is a clear journey. So when someone comes to point A, there is a clear journey that you are going to take them on, that everything makes sense for you, for them, for your business, that you're taking them across this journey, you're giving them added value, and you're showing them the path to how they can work with you when they decide, if they decide, it's their decision, whether they want to do that. And then also what I have added on here is because there are a lot of you who are working in the health and fitness field, and some of you have in-person clients, I also want you to think about your promotion for your in-person clients. Because that's a huge factor in your business. If you are working with in-person clients, that is a massive factor of your business. It takes up a lot of your time, and you may not need to worry about it. Maybe you've got clients coming to you all the time. But in case you don't, or if you have specific classes, you also want to think about how that factors into your marketing. Because I know from my own personal experience, when I taught at the gym, it was really, really hard for me to kind of cross promote gym stuff with online stuff at the same time. So if you have any questions around that, make sure you hop into the group and we can troubleshoot it and have a look at it. But that's one of the things that I wanted to touch on, is that if you do have in-person clients, considering how you can market to them. And it probably looks pretty different to if you're marketing online, because in person there is going to be you're going to be looking at your weather, your demographic, your location. You're going to be looking at the price point that is around that area, whereas online it's a little bit different. But if you have any questions about in-person clients, make sure you pop into the group and let me know. So the second thing I want to focus on is the platforms. This is the second P. The platforms that you are going to use, right? This is what I'm talking about. Which platforms are you going to use? And one of the reasons I started to plan this out in my own business is because I realized that there is a huge amount of marketing out there to say that it doesn't matter if you're on Facebook and Instagram, you also need to be on this platform and that platform now. I mean, you have to be on every platform. I know that Gary Vee talks about this. Now, I love Gary Vee, but there are certain things I don't agree with. And one of those things is, as small solo business owners, we cannot be everywhere. And I don't think yes, you want to learn the platforms and you want to grow a business and you don't want to put all of your marketing in one place, but there is only so much that you can do. And I do feel that you need to grow in those areas. So as the business owner, odds are you already know your audience, you know where they are and where they're hanging out online. And you're probably on Facebook, you're more than likely on Instagram, maybe you're dabbling on LinkedIn and Pinterest, maybe YouTube as well. Those seem to be the main areas that I see people using in their businesses. But with Facebook and Instagram, we hear a lot about algorithms, and then there was that thing where they all went down. I was asleep, but they all went down and everyone was going crazy. And I was like, this is why we do have to think about the other platforms, but we cannot be consistently active on every platform in the same way. And each platform looks a little bit different. So I want you to consider where you're already promoting. So if you're already promoting, let's say on Facebook, but the Facebook algorithm has got you feeling sad and you are not sure how to promote your business and whether you should still be promoting your business on Facebook, what I want you to consider is why you went there in the first place. Did you go there because it was the right platform? Did you go there because it was easy? And really looking at your audience and where they're hanging out. Because if your audience are on Facebook, then it's worth looking at how you can better utilize that platform rather than leaving it behind for something else that might not work. And I think that's really important, is that just because someone else is telling you that you should be on another platform, it doesn't mean that's the right platform for you. It means it's the right platform for them, and they've probably got something to sell, right? We know that, but their marketing is probably really good, and you are feeling maybe that you should be there as well. We have talked about this a lot inside the Wonder Woman Business Lounge over the last few weeks, because I I spent most of last year saying that I was going to go on Pinterest, and I did nothing with it. And I eventually did. I eventually started using Pinterest, and I have fallen in love with that platform. But the only way I was able to fall in love with that platform and do it in a way that has not taken me any more time is because I'd kind of got what am I trying to say? I got a strategy for the other platforms. So the other platforms that I'm using in my business, I have a consistent strategy. I know what I'm doing. I know how to engage in those places. And so I could adopt a new platform without it taking up hours of my time. But I know that if I go, I wouldn't fit in my content strategy. So what I want you to think about is your platforms, where you're already promoting. I want you to ask yourself how you feel about these platforms that you're planning to promote your brand or business on over the next 90 days. And I want you to ask yourself which stories you are buying into about these platforms. Which stories are you buying into, right? This idea that the algorithm is going to ruin your business, this idea that you can beat the algorithm, it's just not true. Again, as I said, we're going to talk about social media a bit this week, but you can't beat the algorithm. The algorithm is smarter than us, and we don't know what they're planning. We don't know what it is they're doing, and so we can't beat it. But we can use the content use the platform as it was designed. And when we can use the platform as it was intended, as it was designed for us to use, that's when we can actually start to see that improvement in our engagement. And that's going to really be helpful for today's challenge as well. And then I also want you to ask yourself this question: how can I show up this month? And if any of you, and I think we've all probably felt this way, get to the point where you're thinking, I don't know what to do first. I'm feeling really overwhelmed with my content. I don't know whether I should write a post or I should show up live or what I should do first. I want you to stop and ask yourself, how can I show up in the best possible way this month, this week, today? How can I show up? What can I do today that's going to get me in front of the most people? Because when we feel overwhelmed, we tend to sink inwards. We tend to stop feeling like we can show up. And when we don't feel like we can show up, then we don't do anything. And then we get the result that we were expecting us to get in the first place, right? So if we can stop and just take a second to think about how we can show up in the best possible way for our audience. How can we get in front of the most people? If it's a Monday and you're really lacking motivation, what are the 3 things you could do this week to really, really get yourself in front of people? And I don't mean that you have to do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live or any of those things, but the ways in which you have seen your business, the ways in which you've seen people engage with you in your business. What could you do? What could you maybe do that might take you out of your comfort zone? Maybe it's engaging with other Instagram accounts. I don't know. But, how can you show up? That's so important, because if you don't show up, then no one else is going to. And so what I want you to really think about when it comes to your platforms is how you feel most comfortable showing up on those platforms, because otherwise the platforms don't really, it's irrelevant. If the platforms are there and you're not using them and you don't feel like you can show up in those ways, that's why I want you to think about how you feel about them so that you can show up in the best possible way over the next 90 days. So the third P is your projects. And this again is something that I see with my clients is you've kind of got this launch or this promotion or whatever it is that you're working on, and you've got your content, but then there's this other thing that maybe you wanted to work on. Maybe you started it and you haven't finished. Maybe it's something you're really excited about, but there's all these other things that you should be doing that are kind of stopping you from working on it. And so when it comes to our projects, what I ask you to do is look at what it is that you want to work on and why you're working on it. Why do you want to work on this project? Is this something that excites you? Is it something that's connected to an existing offer? Is it a complimentary freebie or a complimentary tripwire or something that's going to fit into a sequence or fit into a funnel that's going to help your audience and going to tell them a story? Why are you sharing it? Because if you're just creating this project to stop you from doing something else, you're just creating it to distract you from something else, and it's probably not the best use of your time. If you're working on this project because it's something that really, really interests you and it really excites you, then you need to make time for it over the next 90 days. But it's important to give yourself some space to do that. And that's one of the reasons why here in the Wonder Woman Business Lounge, we batch our content. We look at working on this content once a month because it gives you so much more time during the month to then work on these projects. To maybe it's a new funnel, a new freebie, as I said, maybe it's an evergreen webinar, whatever it is that you're working on, it gives you more space and time and energy to work on those things. But I do want you to ask yourself why you're working on it. And is it because it's complementary of what you're already offering and part of your business? Or is it just to distract you and kind of keep you playing small and keep you kind of away from the bigger picture? Because oftentimes our energy is spent in places that isn't actually bringing us in engagement or clients or money or subscribers. It's actually just distracting us from focusing on the things that kind of keep our dial pointed in the right direction. So those are the 3 Ps. I would love for you to take some time to just go through each of them: promotions, projects, and platforms. And just make a note. It doesn't need to be super complicated or detailed. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. But I want you to think about what you're promoting, which platforms you're going to use to promote those, and which projects you want to work on over the next 90 days. It's really important that you understand where your time is going over the next 90 days. So, as I said, what are you promoting? Which platforms will you use to promote your brand or business? And which other projects do you want to work on? So the next thing we're going to look at is the 4-pillar method. The 4-pillar method is, it was a real game changer in my business. And I know for the ladies who are already here, who have used this before, it's such a simple but powerful tool to help you create this unlimited content bank. By content bank, what I mean is being able to have a list of content themes from your own business that are unique to you, that don't just cover what you do, but they cover how you teach and how you share your content. They give your audience a little bit of insight into you and why you do what you do. So the 4-pillar method is based around this concept that your business has kind of 4 main themes. Most businesses I've worked with have 4 main themes. Some have 5. So if you are in the health and fitness industry, you might have 5. Typically, I found a lot of health and fitness people have maybe 5 pillars, but typically most businesses have 4. And the 4 pillars are these main themes that are in your business, these 4 main themes that are that kind of hold your business up. So we're not talking about like really specific detailed things that you teach or really specific detailed nuances in your coaching programs, but the 4 to 5 main themes that you talk about in your business. So things to think about: how do I help my clients? What do I share or write about consistently, whether it's in your blog, on social media, or in your email newsletters? What are you passionate about? And what makes you, as the coach or consultant, what makes you different? These are the things that tend to help you form your 4 to 5 main content themes. So your 4 to 5 content themes, I want to give you some examples from my clients so that you have an idea of what we're looking at, because these are the big overarching themes. This is not the detail. So for example, a copywriter, her main themes would be website copy, sales page copy, social media copy, and email copy. Right? Those are the 4 main themes. She talks about all 4 of those things within her programs, within her services. Those are things that she helps her clients with. So those are her 4 main themes. And what that means is that she's got these 4 main headers that she can now start to create all those detailed posts around. Because she can write a detailed post about website copy, but she could write a detailed post about your about page, or how to write a call to action, how to write your social media bio, how to write a welcome email sequence. These are the more detailed things underneath each of those headings. So I want you to go away today. This is your challenge. I do want you to think about what your 4 to 5 main themes are. What are those 4 to 5 main themes of your business? So I've given you some examples. Another example would be, I have a bookkeeper whose her 4 themes were QuickBooks, the tool that you use, QuickBooks, money mindset, taxes and tax season, and then keeping your taxes organized, keeping your books organized. Those were her 4 main themes. If you're in health and fitness, it might be nutrition, fitness, movement, mindset, maybe stress. Depends on what your business is. So I want to show you what mine looks like, just to give you a visual of how this looks when you start to break it down. So I've tried to zoom out. So it's not, I'm going to zoom in a little bit because it's not too small. Okay. So I went through and I did this last year sometime, and I went through and I looked at all of the things that I talk about in my business. And these are the main, up here, this is the main theme. So I had content strategy, and I have business basics right here. And then we have productivity, big one for me, and then mindset and purpose. What I've done, as you can see underneath each of these, I'm just going to scroll back up to the top. Under content strategy, the first thing I've created here is planning, right? I talk about content planning. And then I've started to look at, okay, how do I teach content planning? What things do I teach inside the Wonder Woman Business Lounge? What things do I teach my one-on-one clients? How can I teach people through my stories and what I've done and how it's helped me through content strategy planning? And I've written down just notes. And this is what I want you to just start by doing. You don't have to be writing essays and essays. It can be in note form. You can do it on pen and paper, Post-its. I've seen people use Post-its, or you can do it in Google Drive like I have. But just starting out by getting those 4 to 5 main themes down, and then just start brain dumping everything that you do underneath each of those headings. So I've got content planning, content creation, content marketing, and then under each of those, that's where we get really detailed. That's where you'll start to say, this is what I really do. This is like the really small detail. And this is the way you would start to look at. So this might be something you teach inside a course, but it's not necessarily something you might write a blog post about, right? I'm not going to necessarily write a blog post about content planning templates, but it might make a really good freebie off the back of a blog post about why you need an editorial calendar, right? So these are the kind of things that you'll start to see when you plan out your content themes, when you look at these themes. And this is how you will create your unlimited content theme bank, because this is now stored inside of my Google Drive. And if I ever come across a quote, or somebody asks me a question on social media and I maybe haven't written a blog post about it, or maybe it's something I do have an answer to, but I haven't thought about it in that way, I can add that to my content bank so it can constantly grow. And this is such a great way of having all of this information in one place, housed, because all of these things should be what you're talking about in your products and services. So when it comes to Wonder Woman Business Lounge, I likely talk about all of these things. I don't talk about them all in one day. I don't even talk about them all in 1 month, but I cover all of these different things. And at any one time, I could get on a hot seat call with somebody and they might ask me a question about an editorial calendar. They might ask me a question about Canva. And these are things that I can answer. And these are things that I can write blog posts about and I can write content about on social media. So I want you to sit down today, take some time and write out your 4 to 5 main themes. And then start to brain dump those more detailed themes underneath. Now, as I said to you earlier, we've got some challenges happening each day. I have already posted inside the Wonder Woman Business Lounge today's challenge. Today's challenge is all about auditing. We've already looked at how to map out your 90 days, how to plan for your productive 90 days. And what I want you to think about is the fact that if you don't measure something, you can't manage it, right? So it's really important that you look at your analytics, that you look at those numbers and you understand kind of what they mean in relation to your business. So if you head on over to the Wonder Woman Business Lounge after this the call finishes, there's a post in there and I've asked you to look at your Instagram analytics specifically and to have a look at what that means for your business and what you have learned from looking at it. I know there's already a couple of questions in there and I'm going to go and answer those later, but I want you to think about what it teaches you about your audience. What is it that they're telling you that they like? What is it they're telling you that they're not really that interested in? And you can find a lot of this information out. Obviously, it's not specific. You know, this one person is not going to tell you this is what I like, and you can't serve everybody, but you can overall look each month at your analytics across your social media platforms, and you can start to form a picture of which content really, really reaches that audience, which piece, and you might be really surprised. And I say that because last month I was super surprised by a piece of content. It was a picture that I took of myself And it really wasn't the best or any of those things. It really wasn't this like great picture. Something about that picture and that caption really, really resonated with my audience. Now, it wasn't the most commented post, but it was the most liked post and it was the most engaged post. And so I want you to really take a look at those, because it's so important that you understand that these posts, when you put the picture and the caption together, it's not the image that makes all the difference. And it's not just that one thing. You don't have to have this perfect image that matches this perfect caption. It's really about telling a story, and it's about those things. It's a storytelling platform, and it's about those things that connect you and your audience together. And so by sharing a piece of you, or sharing a little bit of a story or something motivational, whatever it is that you do in your business, being able to share that with somebody in a very natural way, not finding the perfect stock photo, not spending hours finding that, but just doing something that feels very natural, and I hate to use it, but authentic, allows you to really see what your audience connect to. And it allows you to also think, okay, well, how can I add more of this into my business? So that's your challenge for today, is to go ahead and look at your Instagram analytics. I have taken a little video and I'm going to pop that into the group so that you guys can see. In case you're not sure how to do that, I'm going to pop that up into the group after I get off this call. But I would love for you to head on over to the group now, go and find that post. And I will be in your inbox tomorrow. I'm going to be live exactly the same time tomorrow, 2 p.m. GMT, 10 a.m. Eastern. I'll be live the same time right here on Zoom. It should be the same link, but I'll send you an email tomorrow anyway with that link. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. And if you're watching the replay, hello. I'd love for you to come over to the group and also find that post, get today's challenge and have a look at that, and post in the group what you have learned from looking at your Instagram analytics. So thank you, and I will see you tomorrow. And if you have any questions, post them in the group, tag me, and I will circle back and answer those as well. But have a great rest of your day.